Pol Pot was a Cambodian revolutionary and politician who led the Khmer Rouge communist movement in Cambodia from 1963 until 1997. Born as Saloth Sar on May 19, 1925, in the small village of Prexboth, located in the Kampong Tom province of Cambodia, he would later adopt the name Pol Pot as a revolutionary alias. Pol Pot's rise to power and subsequent rule had a profound and tragic impact on Cambodia, resulting in one of the most catastrophic genocides in modern history. His leadership led to the deaths of an estimated 1.7 to 2.5 million people, which was approximately a quarter of Cambodia's population at that time. To understand Pol Pot's significance and the events that unfolded during his regime, it's essential to delve into his early life, political ideology, rise to power, the Khmer Rouge regime, the Cambodian genocide, and the aftermath of his rule. Pol Pot was born into a relatively affluent farming family. His parents were landowners, and he received a traditional Buddhist upbringing. He attended a local Buddhist monastery for his early education and later moved to Phnom Penh, the capital city of Cambodia, to pursue his studies further. In Phnom Penh, Pol Pot studied at a prestigious French Catholic school, where he excelled academically and developed a passion for leftist ideologies. During his time in the city, he became involved in political activities and joined anti-colonial and anti-imperialist movements, laying the groundwork for his future involvement in revolutionary politics. Pol Pot's political ideology was significantly influenced by Marxist and communist teachings. He became a member of the French Communist Party and was heavily influenced by Mao Zedong's Communist Revolution in China. His exposure to these ideologies, coupled with his experiences of witnessing social inequalities and the struggles of peasants in Cambodia, fueled his radical beliefs and aspirations for revolutionary change. In 1963, Pol Pot became the secretary of the Communist Party of Kampuchea, CPK, which would later become known as the Khmer Rouge. Over the following years, he consolidated power within the party, advocating for a peasant-based revolution to create an agrarian socialist society by eradicating perceived class enemies and establishing a classless society. Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge gained significant momentum during the Vietnam War, taking advantage of the political instability in Cambodia. In 1975, after years of guerrilla warfare, the Khmer Rouge captured Phnom Penh and seized control of the country. Pol Pot became the de facto leader of Cambodia, establishing a totalitarian regime. Under Pol Pot's leadership, Cambodia underwent radical social engineering and restructuring. The Khmer Rouge aimed to create an agrarian utopia by abolishing private property, currency, religion, education, and modern technologies. They forcibly relocated millions of people from urban areas to rural communes, where they were subjected to harsh labor, malnutrition, and brutal living conditions. The Cambodian Genocide. The Khmer Rouge's pursuit of an agrarian socialist society led to widespread atrocities and human rights abuses. Pol Pot's regime implemented ruthless policies that resulted in the deaths of countless Cambodians. Intellectuals, professionals, ethnic minorities, religious groups, and anyone perceived as a threat to the regime were systematically targeted and executed. The infamous killing fields emerged as sites where mass executions and atrocities occurred. People were subjected to torture, forced labor, and inhumane living conditions. The regime's policies led to widespread famine, disease, and death, causing immense suffering and devastation throughout Cambodia. In 1979, following years of internal and external pressure, the Khmer Rouge's reign of terror came to an end when Vietnamese forces invaded Cambodia and ousted Pol Pot's regime. Despite being removed from power, Pol Pot continued to lead the Khmer Rouge in the jungles of Cambodia, engaging in guerrilla warfare against the Vietnamese-backed government until 1997. Pol Pot's leadership left a legacy of devastation and trauma in Cambodia. The country struggled to recover from the social, economic, and psychological scars inflicted during his regime. Efforts to rebuild the nation and seek justice for the victims of the genocide continued long after Pol Pot's death. Legacy and impact. The legacy of Pol Pot's regime in the Khmer Rouge era continues to reverberate through Cambodia and the global community. The effects of the genocide are profound, extending beyond the period of Pol Pot's rule. The social, economic, and psychological wounds inflicted during that time have persisted for decades, affecting multiple generations of Cambodians. Societal impact. The Khmer Rouge's systematic extermination of intellectuals, professionals, and anyone deemed a threat to the regime had a devastating impact on Cambodia's societal structure. The loss of a significant portion of the educated and skilled population hindered the country's ability to rebuild and develop after the regime's collapse. Institutions, including education and healthcare, were decimated, contributing to long-term challenges in these sectors. Families were torn apart, and communities were shattered as people were forcibly relocated, tortured, and killed. The trauma experienced by survivors and their descendants has had lasting effects on mental health and social cohesion in Cambodian society. Efforts to seek justice and hold perpetrators accountable for the atrocities committed during Pol Pot's regime have been ongoing. The establishment of the Extraordinary Chambers in the Courts of Cambodia, ECCC, commonly known as the Khmer Rouge Tribunal, aimed to prosecute surviving Khmer Rouge leaders for crimes against humanity, war crimes, and genocide. The trials, which began in 2007, sought to provide closure for the victims and survivors while holding accountable those responsible for the horrors of the Khmer Rouge era. Efforts to preserve the memory of the genocide, educate younger generations about the atrocities, and provide support for survivors and their families have been crucial in the healing process. Organizations, both within Cambodia and internationally, continue to work towards healing the wounds inflicted by the Khmer Rouge, advocating for justice, remembrance, and support for affected communities. On April 15, 1998, Pol Pot died under mysterious circumstances in a remote area of Cambodia. His death raised numerous questions, and the full extent of accountability for the atrocities committed under his regime remains a complex issue. The Khmer Rouge's crimes against humanity led to international condemnation, with efforts made to bring surviving leaders to justice through tribunals and trials. Pol Pot's impact on Cambodia cannot be overstated. His radical ideology, pursuit of a utopian society, and ruthless implementation of policies resulted in unimaginable suffering and loss. The scars of the Khmer Rouge era continue to shape Cambodia's socio-political landscape, and the memory of Pol Pot's brutal regime serves as a stark reminder of the horrors of totalitarianism and unchecked power. Pol Pot's legacy remains a poignant reminder of the dangers of totalitarianism, extremism, and unchecked power. His radical ideology, ruthless policies, and quest for a utopian society resulted in immeasurable suffering and loss for the Cambodian people. The story of Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge era serves as a cautionary tale, highlighting the importance of safeguarding human rights, preserving democratic values, and preventing the rise of ideologies that can lead to mass atrocities. As Cambodia continues to grapple with the traumatic legacy of the Khmer Rouge, the memory of Pol Pot's reign stands as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the necessity of justice, and the imperative of ensuring that such atrocities are never repeated.